Today is the 28th day of July 2020. And boy, I can see an escalation of COVID-19 cases coming Abaco way, by way of Bakers Bay. You imagine that the government, and I saw the Prime Minister do some stupid stuff, but when the Prime Minister said that he's gonna lock out the Americans and bring the rest of Europe in, I say, head ain't on right. Somebody need to twist his head and put his head on right. Then he said COVID-19 can't come on private plane and jet. The COVID-19 only could fly on commercial plane. Somebody get a doctor for that doctor. Then he led these Mexicans into Abaco without the COVID-19 test. It is being written. Lo and behold, we know. There's some stuff we don't know, but some stuff we know. We know that there is a single Mexican that is tested positive for COVID-19. We know that another manager on Bakers Bay has tested positive for COVID-19, and they just send him home to isolate. Where is his home? Who is he isolating with? Who's doing the contact tracing on Bakers Bay? A lot of the Mexicans, if not all of the Mexicans, has been tested. The kid was flown in by charter into Doctor's Hospital, where they picked it up at the airport. But why should Bakers Bay give the Bahamas government the results of their testing? That is something that Bakers Bay want to keep quiet. But what disturbs me as an Abaconian, that I knew for a while that you couldn't contain COVID-19 here. It's an open field. But the government of the Bahamas knows that there's several cases of COVID-19 on Bakers Bay. And they allow the Prime Minister and Brent Seminit fast ferry to carry hundreds of people that stretch from Crown Haven to Sandy Point. They are from the length and breadth of Abaco. What if 50 of the 100 Mexicans got COVID-19? What if 50 of the Bahamian workers that are now working on a COVID-19 positive island of Bakers Bay, a private resort? What if, this is one of these what if videos, and they bring that back Shaw Mashaba and spread from Crown Haven to Sandy Point? The question I'm asking the competent authority, why didn't you stop the ferry from going back to Bakers Bay if you're serious about containing the virus? What ought to have happened, Mr. Prime Minister, sir? You and this doctor, what you got there in charge of health, don't know a needle from a spoon. Why couldn't you all just shut it down until you finally test the Mexicans to make sure it's safe to mix the Bahamian population amongst these Mexicans? Well, let me tell you something. that place called Maxwell's, that's going to be the epicenter of COVID-19. Whenever you see that COVID-19 hitting Maxwell's and that air conditioner is turning low and spitting it back at you, there goes Abaco. You think Freeport is in problem. I think Freeport has some testing down there. But in order for us to test, we got to go online. Go on the line to get testing. But it's the escalation of COVID-19. Listen to Kai Mills. The Universal God has showed me a vision of what has happened because of the greed, the lack of integrity, the lack of heart, and the lack of soul of my Prime Minister, the most honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, my Member of Parliament, who is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, that signed on for these COVID-19 Mexican to come into his island of Abaco to destroy what Hurricane Dorian haven't already destroyed. And then Dr. Livingston Marshall went on radio, and he was on radio with my Member of Parliament, Darren Enfield, to suggest and to say, and Darren Enfield is in agreement with Dr. Marshall, that Bahamians, Abaconians, the Bahamas, Wakers is not worthy of doing what the Mexicans are doing. But now, after that, Dr. Livingston Marshall didn't even apologize to the Bahamas, nor the Bahamian people, nor the government. But he's bought them all out again. That's why I said, anybody that go to Baker's Bay, you imagine Baker's Bay being in existence 13, 14 years, and a government, a political party has to beg Baker's Bay. After 40 odd years of independence, they have to beg Baker's Bay to campaign to win the government. That means Baker's Bay already have them in their pocket. And the dirtiest player in the history of resort building is the Senior Vice President of Operation, Dr. Livingston Marshall. Anybody that take money from Baker's Bay to campaign, it's corrupt, dirty money. That is not the way to start to run a country owing debt to a little resort called Baker's Bay by the handout of Dr. Livingston Marshall. That is why COVID-19 is going to cripple Abaco, because they had a chance to contain it and they refused to contain it. You imagine in Abaco, they talk about washing. There's no electricity. 11 months in, there's no water. And you imagine being caught with COVID-19 in Abaco because of Baker's Bay, because of the greed of my Prime Minister, the lack of concern. I keep saying, and watch it, be careful, careful, careful when you hit Maxwell's. You got about 4 or 5 businesses inside there. This thing gotta catch like wildfire. Where are you gonna be self-quarantined in Abaco? Where? in these little domes? How is that possible when the water flows whenever water and sewage decide to flow? This Abaco is in trouble. I am asking everybody to be extra careful. Don't look for the government to man up and tell you the truth. Don't look for Baker's Bay to tell you how much of them Mexicans got COVID-19. If there's 50 to 100 of them eating in the same place, bathing in the same place, working in the same place, it's impossible for only one to have it. They move around like rats in packs. A lot of them got it. And Baker's Bay will have the information and they will sit on it. You will see. The management, I want to tell the workers how to know when the stuff hit the fan. When you see the workers, the managers of Baker's Bay, hightailing back to America, you got a problem, Houston. You got a problem. They're gone, and we in the Bahamas got to figure it out with this incompetent authority that should have shut that key down until this detained and did contact tracing. None of that is happening. Everybody is acting like it's some normalcy, like it's not an emergency. Until an emergency happens, it would be too late. 4 days ago, it should have been shut down. This one of these car I care video, because I do care what's going to happen to my brothers and sisters when they walk in the Maxwells and elsewhere in the Abaco. Kai cares. That's why he's here.